Welcome to December the 1st today. I thought I'll say that first. We made it. It's been a fast year. I'm sure you've all agreed. A couple of you in the room have InBodies already. InBody device is a body composition device, and some of you haven't. I won't be talking too much about the device themselves, but my industry experience from working in private health clubs, working in leisure sector, working in the Energie Fitness franchise has really kind of sparked this discussion. So from an independent gym conference, there's learnings that I've found over the years, particularly in fitness service design. So when you have a investment choice, you're looking to invest in a certain piece of equipment or a certain training program, this is the angle I'm coming at you today. So appreciate your time. It's going to be about 20 minutes long, and then there's some Q&A at the end as well if you would like. So the question I'm going to be asking and trying to answer really is looking at this word health. Okay, the next 5 to 10 years, the operators that are going to survive in this space, are going to thrive in this space, have really started to, or need to start to look at health, fitness towards health. But the question then stands, what is health? How do we assess it? How do we measure it? What key terms are going to come over in the next, kind of 2 or 3 years that your trainers, your coaches, yourselves, and your members are going to be using? So I think that's kind of where I've come from in InBody. I started in January this year, been an operator for 18 years. So I've sat on your side of the table for a long, long time. And one of the frustrations that I used to have when I was head of product or head of service or head of development was the design around the service product. And then how do you implement that into your teams, into your customers, and therefore becomes your brand? So flipping that on its head from a supplier point of view and looking at the technology, I suppose, coming through in the industry, we're catching up as an industry in the technological world. But InBody is actually a medical device. And in the medical world, the terminology is health. How do we measure it? Is it accurate? Is it repeatable? Is it reproducible? In the fitness industry, we do so much good work, but we don't always prove our successes. And how do we prove our successes? Except for potentially looking in the mirror, doing a before and after shot. What about the internal health? The internal health data that someone wants to know, okay? So I think that's kind of the question really I posed when I joined, and the question to the industry that I'm going to ask you guys: are you designing your services, are you designing your products, your facilities with health in mind? And if not, then now's the time to start doing it. Similarly, from your members, there is a lot more information out there from a health point of view. There's a lot more information on the internet, there's a lot more information on apps they're downloading, on their health data, but equally, their service. They want an individual tailored service. So then how do you achieve that for that person if you've got someone looking to lose weight, or you've got someone looking to recover from injury, recover from illness, recover from a sporting event, leading up to a sporting event, again, recovering from a life experience or a stage in their life, all the way through from childhood into teens, into the adult, into the aging adult. Okay, and that's what I suppose the future fitness operator, health operator should be looking at. And it's well documented. As I said, health is on its way. So the way I used to approach fitness service design and facility design was split into 2 parts. I looked at product design, and I looked at the service signatures. So similar for you guys in your clubs, have you had a look at your facilities, look at the products that you do? Your cardiovascular equipment, your free weights, your functional, again, body composition analysis, movement zones, wellness recovery zones, the innovations that you buy. By the way, feel free to take photos of any of these slides if you feel that is useful. Don't feel like you can't take shots. But your outdoor fitness spaces as well. So how are you designing all of these processes from a product point of view, physical product? What is your budget, and therefore what would you like to spend? But secondary is the service signatures. So does the product that you're investing in fit your cultural behaviors? Okay? Does it fit the training program that you've put in for your coaches, for your staff, for your employees, and the information and the terminology you want your members to be talking about? Digital fitness offering, so do your investments, again, have a digital arm to it, okay? In this modern age, everybody is on their phones. So have you got a digital wing? What, again, the terminology you want in that brand. Your new member journeys, do you have information, do you have lead generation tools, acquisition tools? But equally, your returning members. Was someone a member from you before? Are they returning? How are you getting that member back into your facility? The investments that you do and the design you do around service will get that member back in. The equipment is largely the same if you're reinvesting, okay? But your service is where the future investment and the reason they will stay with you as members. Similar thing, signature programming. So looking at, again, your group fitness offer, your family wellness products, okay? Are you incorporating the whole family in? What devices, what information are you doing? Do you have a teenage fitness program, a health program? So by the time they're 5 years down the line, they become the adults and they're the members of your facilities. Think about those things in your service design. Doesn't need to be overcomplicated, but it needs to be there. And again, all the way down, the probably more well-known ones, the wearable tech, the personal training, health and wellness services, the community services that you guys can link with. Okay, how do you capture all of these services? How do you then prove that the stuff that you're doing in your club is working for your members? And that's essentially where composition comes in. But even before that, the nutrition coaching. What do you stand for as your nutrition ethos? Okay, do your coaches stand for similar? Are they preaching a different message? So anytime I approached a service product, I kind of say, what am I buying for my club or my clubs? So I used to be head of fitness for 70, 80 clubs. What am I going to buy for 70, 80 clubs? And what theme are going to be going all the way through that club? What one or two kind of themes? Behavior, product, process, and then programming. So looking a little bit then towards the future, what are we going to be looking at from a terms point of view? These baseline health markers, that's a term you should start to get used to. Okay, so certainly from a fitness industry, we do these things really well, we just don't necessarily term them very well. So what are the baseline health markers that your facility measures, tracks, trains, and then proves the success of? So baseline health markers that to look at was obviously body composition analysis. 5 or 10 years ago, we'd be looking at percentage body fat. Hands up in the room who looks at body composition machine and goes straight to the percentage body fat. Anyone? Yeah, you will do. And that's normal, that's natural, because that's effectively what we've been taught for the last kind of 5 to 15 years, really, since this technology has been available. But the body composition is more about your skeletal muscle mass. Okay? The words like segmental skeletal muscle mass or segmental analysis, to some of you, you'll understand what that means. To the majority of you, again, segmental is a foreign word when it comes to body composition. All that means is we're splitting your body into 5 parts, your arms, your trunk, and your legs. And then the balance between those segments will tell you that your training program needs to be tweaked. Is it working? Is it going backwards? Does that make sense? So again, these terms will come through the muscle fat analysis, CID. That's something that we do. It's called caution, is a C shape, I is ideal, D is developed. Okay, again, that pertains to the amount of skeletal muscle mass that an individual has on their body. And relating to their age, their peer population, they're the things that people are going to be interested in. As people get fitter, as they grow older, the population is aging and staying fit. Okay, so again, balance and segmental analysis and muscle mass, skeletal muscle mass is a key marker of function. Body balance is something we look at. So again, post-COVID, we've seen a lot of information about people sitting down at home, remote workers. So the balance that we've seen through our scans from the trade shows that we do from our customers that have devices is upper body to lower body. So everyone's lower limbs started to lose muscle mass and therefore become out of balance. So one of the things we look at is your body in balance, left to right, upper to lower. Okay, so again, it's another marker of your baseline health. Then we go into a little bit more of a water. So your segmental water analysis, your intra and extracellular water. So how much water is inside your cells, how much water is outside your cells. And there is a direct ratio, there's an ideal ratio for that. Okay, again, do your trainers know about this? Are they training? What things affect it from a health point of view? And then how can you identify it? That's where you guys can come in. BMR, I think most people know basal metabolic rate. From an in-body point of view, we look at basal metabolic rate as at rest. How many calories do you need to consume a day to function, to be alive? However, we had a little spin say at rest, that is the minimum amount of calories you need to maintain your muscle mass that you have on you. Okay, so on that marker, when you have analysis, we'll say at rest, if you do not eat this amount, you will lose muscle. The main reason is the first line of defense against any illness is your muscle. Okay, so we need to keep that defense system up, and that BMR gives you that baseline muscle. Okay, if you want to improve that, if you want to make sure that you're growing your muscle, your BMR has to be at that minimum. And then that starts to combat people who are under-eating, in a calorie deficit, okay, or overeating, and want to put on more muscle and reduce their fat. Okay, and again, works in conjunction with CID. Whole body phase angle. So again, we're going to a lot more water analysis now, and the higher devices in body composition ranges use this a lot. This is how good is your cell integrity. Okay, so we can measure the current will go through the cell membrane, go out the other side, and say how good is that cell. Okay, the phase angle is used in a lot of recovery techniques of swelling on the body. Then if you can look at someone's left and right arm, left leg, right leg, and their trunk, and see where that swelling is on the body, it can pick up previous injuries, current injuries, and then look at your rehab program. So again, from an accuracy, from a reproducibility, that's so important when you're looking to test things. And in my opinion, we haven't really had that in the industry for the last 20 years wholesale. Now, we're not driving this behavior as fitness professionals, the consumer is. We're seeing a lot more information out there, and from this past year, which is why I say welcome to the 1st of December, we've had more queries on our websites around about this type of measurement. So the cell health, the water health, the internal health data. Where can I go and have a scan? Not just an in-body scan, but where can I just have a scan? There's multiple operators who do this technology. But what does it actually do then? Knowing these things from our side, then what does it promote from your side? So looking then, your strength programs, your sleep patterns, your circadian rhythms, all these kind of things that you guys train, your trainers coach, and that you stand for as your cultural behaviors, your nutrition coaching plans, your wellness recoveries, your weight management. Hands up who has a weight management program in their club on a weekly basis right now. About 4 people. If you haven't, okay, then introduce it. Maybe the reason you haven't, okay, is you haven't got the tools then to implement. But then, is it just a healthy weight program, or are you looking deeper into cell health and coaching? The aging adult healthy habits. So again, what behaviors can you influence by someone having a bi-weekly check-in, a health check? It's not a coaching session, it's not a training session, it's a health check. And one of the biggest things for us is student health and family activities, inclusive health. So on devices, you can scan from the ages 3 to 99. So actually, if you've got a predominantly adult-based health club, bring in the kids. If you've got a kids program, you can scan, again, from a balance point of view, from a behavioral point of view, but looking at skeletal muscle mass, okay, on a cellular level. And we want to prove the stuff that we do works. The other side of it then, so we've got quite a lot of data there. Some of you will be going, that's a lot for my coaches to take on. So how do then we educate our trainers? How do we train them? How do we talk about it? We talk about something called scans. We don't say in-body tests. We call them scans. Nobody likes a test. No one likes to fail a test. People like to pass tests, but no one likes to fail tests. So we call it a scan. We don't call it a body fat machine. We call it a in-body scan device. Okay, so you come in for your health scan. But on that scan day, when it is scan day, there is emotions. There is emotions, pre-scan, during scan, post-scan, okay? And that's the thing you need to tap into, okay? Train your trainers how to question pre-scan. How are you feeling today? How's it gone this week? During the scan, how did that feel you're on the device? Did it confuse you? Did it excite you? Were you nervous? And then post-scan, how do you feel now? So tapping into that, and then they relate it to your facility. All of these things, either I went in excited. Who's ever excited when they're doing a body composition scan? Not many people. Okay, nervous, skeptical, interested. Okay, we get quite a lot of interested, self-conscious, embarrassed. Okay, just that action of someone getting on there, taking a leap in their life, that is a big step. Okay, so you celebrate that, and then actually the rescan process is where we focus the second emotion. So you have scan 1 is good, it's the rescan process that we go through. And it is that health scan, that health check. So off the back of that, again, the data that I put on the last slide, there's the conversations. So after scan day happens, and it happens 6 or 7 times a year, from your guys' point of view then, does it make me money? From an operator point of view, how does it make me money? How can I make it, again, profitable in my business? So one of the things when I used to go back to designing our products and our services, does this service work? Does it do what it says on the tin? Does it make me money? Does it keep members? Okay, it was the big thing. So again, these are some of the examples that I implement for our customers and for you guys today. Is a direct revenue return. So you can charge for these scans, these health coaches, direct revenue. Okay, so that is an option, ranging from £5 to £20, depending what service you guys are comfortable in offering. Okay, but it is a medical device, and that's the big difference here. So when you're looking for a health scan, there are companies in the UK outside of the fitness industry charging for health scans. And it's a conversation about nutrition, it's a conversation about recovery, it's a conversation about lifestyle, and it's data that is trusted, medical data. And that's what people charge you for. So you guys, again, based on your price point, can charge for this service. Then from my experience in running PT projects for Virgin Active and Nuffield Health, again, 3 scan packages with 2 months expiry. So you're starting to introduce behaviors. So you go, well, actually, 3 scan packages, got a couple of months to take it. Have scan 1 come with me, scan 2 come back in and self-serve, scan 3 in 2 months, and you've got someone coming back to your facility. Within that time, if they do a couple of classes within that time, they do a couple of sessions in that time, they're working with a trainer in that time, whatever they're doing, okay, you can start to track that data and then attribute it to your facility. Does that make sense? So other things, layer on coaching. So layer on 20-minute coaching sessions, and that could be remote or it could be live. You've got a cost for your trainers, that costs money for you to coach. So again, a 20-minute, a 30-minute, it's up to you. Equally, a transformation program, so looking at a 6-scan transformation package. All right, well, that's over 6 weeks. You're going to do 3 scans, and you're going to have 2 coaching sessions and 1 PT session. Okay, however you want to package these things is up to, as I say, that first slide is your cultural brand, how you want to get across. And again, you don't have to do them all. You can do one and make it extremely successful. The other thing from a facility that's independent that I used to use, the composition devices when I was a buyer, was outreach corporate wellness days. So again, the local businesses where you work, a little bit like this, you would have a scan package in there as well. So you go in actually as part of that event, you get a free scan, health scan with our trainer, and it's powered by your facility. Does that make sense? From a event organizer, that enriches the event organizer's day, their package, but equally for you guys, you're getting your health message across, and then you can interpret. So from an outreach point of view, you do 10 of them a year, jobs are good, and you do 5 there a year, you've paid for the device. So these types of things, from my point of view, is how you get direct revenue. Then there's retention revenue, which in my opinion is the bigger part of the industry. How do you retain a member? How do I keep that member with me 1 more month? That's the holy grail for us in operation world. So again, some ideas here on retention revenue. So first scan free is what I say for everybody, but 4 scans a year with a certain package. Again, linking into 30-minute results analysis that's bookable on a timetable alongside a class. Okay, someone comes in for their class, actually you can come in, there's a 30-minute time window where you can get scanned. Okay, so people book in for these things, it's a retention. Family health scan opportunity, as I say, if you run events for your facility, the family health scan is a real kind of, I suppose, a retention. It gets the kids involved in the clubs, Again, it keeps everyone there for a couple of days. You get barbecues going, all sorts of things. These were prime events that we ran every couple of months when I was at Energie Fitness. Similar thing for active communities, GP referral. It's a validation process. Because it's a medical device, okay, the validation for a GP referral program is there. And that's a big shift. So over the next couple of years, when you guys are looking at your partnerships with your local GPs, this is going to come sweeping through. And we want your facilities to be there where actually you're getting the members of the community into your facilities, and it's a health drive. It's not a fitness drive. It's because they're improving their health. Okay? And you can validate that your services, those programs are working. And then I suppose the last one for me is your employee wellness program. So I heard earlier one PT has not lost a member of staff in 5 years. Absolute cracking. Okay, so what are you doing to invest in your employees from their health point of view? If it's 1 site, 5 sites, kind of 10 sites, getting the guys bought into the culture of driving health, recovery, and then validating it through. So an employee wellness program that we can implement. So those are the, I suppose, scan journey types. I call them scan journeys, like we have member journeys. And then we research how our customers are using the data. So just to give you a little bit of a background, 87% of our members implemented with an onboarding. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but most people include it in onboarding. If you're doing a tour of your facility or you're advertising an open day, again, come in for a health scan and get your data results. You capture the data, the person feels they've got value just from visiting your club. Okay, so 87% do during the onboarding process. Again, you'll hear Paul Beverton in a minute talk about that kind of first 6-week onboarding. So important to get those visits in. Okay, this is one extra way you can get those visits in for your members. And again, 92% of members have an InBody scan every 2 months. This is what we're looking for, that change in behavior. I'm looking after my health, be it my body balance, my visceral fat's reduced, I've increased my skeletal muscle mass on my legs. Last time it wasn't so in balance. Okay, my extracellular water, I now know what that means, and I'm improving it because I'm hydrated and I've got more muscle on my body. So those types of conversations happen once every 2 months, and it's an opportunity for you guys to reprogram people. Okay, so again, reprograms, if everyone's done an induction program, look at the percentage of how many people you get in for a reprogram. I'm pretty sure it's fairly low. Okay, it might be higher, but I'm kind of betting it's sub 10%. So a reprogram opportunity, re-engagement to come back in. That's a lot of our customers are using that. This slide, again, is more from a motivation point of view. So on the first slide, I looked at how do we motivate members. We're in the motivation industry, if you ask my opinion about what we do best. We motivate people to come back in. We motivate people to exercise. That's why we're here, to move more, to engage in their health. So from a motivation point of view, 90% of members have said that actually having a scan, having that health data at hand, motivated me to come and do some more. Now that might be in your facility, it might be outside of your facility, but that's what I'm in this game for. Is to motivate people to do more exercise, to live healthier, and that stat there is absolutely fantastic to me. Okay, we're doing another survey this year to see where everyone's health data is at, but 90% of customers agreed that InBody keeps their members motivated. And that could be any device you decide to buy from body composition point of view, but that motivation of coming back, having an appointment, having that 20-minute conversation or 5-minute conversation, just then tips the scale and, right, well, we'll see you next week. Okay, come back in, we'll see you for the next class. When's your next scan booked in? We'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll see you in 4 weeks. Okay, that repeat business is the holy grail, as I say. And then there's a direct revenue. There's on average was £1,000, so range from £500 to £2,000 a month based on their metrics. So again, just some little insights there from others. And then I suppose to finish from me is looking at that investment. So when we're looking at investments from you guys, again, owners, operators in the room, either multi-site or single site, are you going to invest in another piece of equipment? And if you do, make sure that you hit these things. So look at the investment cost. Again, the data provided. Again, there's going to be programs on there. When you're looking at group fitness programs, you're putting on new group fitness. What's going to be the output of this 6 to 12 week, this 6-month process? Okay? Similar thing, time taken to operate. You operate a small facility. You want people in, out, quick. How do you maximize the service that you're designing? Again, someone's on a treadmill for 20 minutes. From an InBody scan, it's 15 to 90 seconds based on your device. So that gives you room to get more people engaged for that pound per hour, that pound per square foot. Space required, again, percentage of members used, that's the biggest one for me. So across the range, again, when you're choosing your device, and the only other one that I would say is similar to ours, and I'm a big advocate of MyZone, is MyZone. Everybody can have a MyZone belt. 100% of people can have a MyZone belt now, especially with the Switch. And I used to invest in that. So similar thing, working with partnerships. What percentage of your gym floor is used by every single member? And if you get more of that, then again, you're going to have a profitable facility. So we look at that percentage of members' usage. Again, I've already said the age range is 3 to 99 from our metrics. And again, where does it integrate? So how do your investments integrate with the rest of your service department? Does it integrate with your app? Does it integrate with your induction process? Does it integrate with actually the apps and the fitness services that your member uses outside of your facilities? Because that's a real kind of hook these days. And I suppose the final one for me, and I'll put that there, outreach and in-reach generator. The lifeblood of your business is sales. You need to keep those sales coming in. So is it used as an outreach? How do you use it in outreach? From your in-reach, those wellness days, how you get someone to refer a friend to your facility. So all of these are considerations when you're looking at investing in, as I say, more equipment, or are you going to start to future-proof yourself and invest in your health markers? Okay, those baseline health markers are the stuff that you should be looking at to survive for the next kind of 4 or 5 years and beyond. Perfect. As I say, there's a lot of information there. If you do want me to go back to the slides to capture any data or go back over any, I think we've got kind of 5 or 6 more minutes. But just wanted to get up here and spend some time just to have a look at, again, how you design your facilities. You obviously look at the product, you look at the feel, you look at the branding. How deep dive do you go into the service side of it? Look at your programs and your composition. Thank you very much. Are there any questions you'd like to ask on either service design or other? We have one. Good.
Supposed to wait for me.
Thanks, Ian. Excuse my ignorance. I'm not, familiar with the device itself. Could you just give a little bit of insight into what the mechanism is in terms of giving it its accuracy? Just because historically, sort of bioimpedance type devices might not have been too effective.
Yeah. Good question. Always comes up, the accuracy one. So, in terms of accuracy and reproducibility, I suppose body composition by BIA has been around for about 25, 30 years. And it's the range of frequencies and the strength of frequencies that go through the body that help the accuracy. In terms of the technology itself, you have single frequency devices. So a lot of you would have stood on a device at home and you'd have got a body composition reading off your device. So what that would have done would have sent a small current up your leg, down your other leg, and effectively that give you a device, okay? It give you a reading. It would predict the rest of your body based on your height. So you would need multiple frequencies to go around the body to make sure you get the most accurate data. Similarly, devices with a single frequency, it might be an upper body device. So you'd hold hand up, kind of held hand there. It would go around your upper body, predict the low body. Some of you at university may have had a sticker on your hand and a sticker on your foot, and it would have measured half your body and predicted the other side. So it's all about the algorithms that predict the rest of the body. By looking at the devices and how they developed, again, there's multiple frequencies going around the body multiple times a minute, and that's able to predict more accurately what your body's made of. And essentially it's the water, where water is in your body. So what we're looking for in a medically graded device is, can you produce the accuracy versus a gold standard, which would be a DEXA scan. So some people would know what a DEXA scan is. That would be the gold standard in the industry. Most devices are within about 98%, 99% of DEXA, most kind of high grade medical devices. Now, in terms of then the practicality of getting a DEXA scan, if, again, you guys Google that, you'll see it's a pretty big device, it's quite expensive, you ain't going to put that in your gym. So how do we get close to that within a 50 to 70-second scan? And that's where the technology problem's been answered. So by stepping on a scanner, you've now got 8 tactile points, upper body and lower body, and there's multiple frequencies going around the body. The higher devices go, the stronger the frequency, and that gives you the deeper sound. Does that answer your question? Perfect. Any other questions on either? Cool.
Thanks, Ian. Really informative. Obviously, you've mentioned not just body fat, body composition. There's a lot of other internal health markers which I'm aware of, which are brilliant. But for the average person who still comes along and says, well, muscle weighs more than fat, doesn't it? And to try and educate people in 15 to 20 minutes, have you set programs or guidance in how much information you discuss and disperse with clients over that 2 or 3 month journey?
Question, thank you. So 100%. So one of the big things that we've worked on this year is the scan journey. So when someone comes back to scan, what are you telling them? What markers are you telling them at each of that scan journey? In the first few, so let's go back to, first one is scan day. So it's making sure that they tap into the emotion. But if we go back a slide, which ones do we talk about in scan number 1, in scan number 2, in scan number 3? Depends on your facility. You might produce a 6-scan journey every 2 weeks or every 6 weeks or every month, and then we'd work together with you on what data markers you want. Majority of people go for, we have an InBody score. Majority of people go for the InBody score, which tells them have they got enough skeletal muscle mass on their body to cope with their body weight, and are they moving forward. Everybody starts at 80. Everybody who has got a health score, enough muscle mass on their body will be over 80. Anyone who hasn't be under 80. So most people go percentage body fat, InBody score, and then we look at body balance. One of the biggest things that we'll push in that first conversation, 5 minutes on InBody score, 5 minutes on body balance, and then generally, as I say, it will be the CID analysis. Where on that body is that skeletal muscle mass? Then, when they come back for scan 2, which is generally 4 weeks later, could be 2 weeks, but generally 4 weeks, we then revisit the next marker. So actually, depending on device that you have purchased, it might just be that you talk about skeletal muscle mass. The higher devices talk about the body water. So the top device would be going into, right, we're going to talk about phase angle. So as a coach, we need to be educated on phase angle because that might be glaring obvious for day 1. And that's where swelling is on the body, on the segments of the body. But scan 2, we tend to talk about segmenting the body out into your arms and your legs and your trunk. Then scan 3, we then have got enough scans to do body composition history. So then we go back through and say, of this body composition, you've had 3 scans now, which is why I say do a 3-scan package. We'll work back through what can you remember, and then what would you like to improve. And then the coach, by that point, will have noted where they've improved or gone backwards. And that can be tailored per facility. I've got about 15 models based on those things to not give too much information across, but give enough for someone to come back and have another scan. That makes sense. Cool. Does that answer your question? Perfect. Any other questions? I don't think I've got enough more time. That's enough.
Great stuff. Thank you, Ian. Accuracy of data, credibility, health. Give him a great big clap.